First of all, it's cheaper. There's just a lot less pots and pans. About half the cost. Everything else being equal, about half the price. Because we're very simple. We have a reactor for reacting the sodium with the oil. We then separate the sodium sulfide from the oil, and then we have these batteries that can recycle. We make marine spec fuel directly, so we don't need to go through a refiner. We can go, so you can take Alberta bitumen through this plant and go straight without going to a refinery. Go right to the end customer, right to the boats. We reckon, about $30,000 per barrel per day. So if it's a 10,000 barrel a day plant, that'd be about $300 million. So that's about the ballpark. Whereas if you're building a full scale, a conventional upgrader, it would cost you at least double that. So we're about half the price tag. One other big thing for me though is the environmental impact, because this one has no emissions. We have no emissions from this plant. We have no greenhouse gas emissions from this plant. We actually create energy here. We create heat. When you react sodium with sulfur, you create heat. We have no sulfur dioxide emissions. We have no sulfur plant. The sulfur comes directly out as liquid sulfur without going in the air. So we don't have any SOx emissions. There's no NOx emissions. There are indirect emissions. We use electricity to separate the sodium and the sulfur in this battery, but that's indirect. Depends where the electricity comes from. So very low emissions, very simple process, low capital intensity, low operating costs. So it's a great opportunity for us to use a very low, I would call it environmentally friendly technology that's relatively simple and relatively inexpensive to operate, and a huge market that we can tie up. I got to be careful not to be, overdriving my headlights. You have to make sure this one's working properly, and it looks to be that way so far. That then sets you up nicely to kind of go into the next stage. So the earliest we could get going and doing field work would be the middle of next year, 2017.